Okay, guys, I thought of something interesting that I might be able to give you some information on. If you buy used Glocks, or you ever want to know if a Glock has been used in certain ways. So this is my duty holster, the Safariland Level 3. This is one of the most common holsters on the market, used by police, government, and just so many different agencies. I wouldn't even be able to name them all. You name it. Most people are using that when they carry it for work, if they carry outside of the waistband. So I've bought guns in the past before, and I've known right away what that gun had been used for, at least for a little while. So I will show you that here in a second, but first let's talk about the firearm that's in there. That is the Glock 45, and this is a level 3 holster. So you can have this up like that, and then you would come in here, and you would, now this is kind of awkward, I'm doing this behind a tripod, but believe me, when you're carrying this, it's very smooth. So to unlock the first retention here, you would push down and forward, and there's a little lever right there. As you draw, your thumb is naturally right on that lever, and it's not at all hard to draw the gun. And literally, it's like without even thinking about it. But if somebody were to come up to you and they were to try to yank on this gun, or come from behind, or come from this way, it's hard for them to get this lever. And then you have time to do what you need to do to get them off of you. So they can't just pull this out. I normally carry with this down, unless I'm in a situation where there's people behind me and people around me that I can't keep an eye on, but I normally keep this down. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Glock 45. So I will tell you this, because I know guys are going to want to know. Other than 3 things, this is a bone stock Glock 45. Mechanically, this gun is bone stock, and this is fully loaded with one in the chamber, so I'm going to handle it as such. So the 3 differences on this firearm are the night sights, the Surefire X300 Ultra, which has been a great light, and these Talon Pro grips. I really like those. It gives me a lot of grip, even if it's raining or whatever, water, anything that you could think of that could be on your hands, you could use this. It'll work, and it'll keep the gun secure in your hand. It just gives you a little bit tighter grip, but it doesn't get in the way of anything, releasing your magazine or anything. If you want to know what I carry in this, I carry Federal HST, and my backup rounds are Corbon 115 grain backup solid copper. So one of the first things you'll notice if you carry in a level 3 or you go to buy a Glock and you see these marks right here, this is from carrying in a level 3 holster. Let me zoom in a little bit because it locks in the trigger guard here. So let me show you how that works. So there's the lever right here, and it locks in the trigger guard. And when your gun goes in here, there's 2 pieces that will hit the slide in contact right here. It's not a big deal. I'm just showing you guys. I really don't care, you know. And then sometimes on this side, there will be a little mark here and a little mark here. I don't know why you get these little marks here. I haven't cut one of these open or anything. But I noticed that whenever I buy a gun that the guy used in a level 3, it will always have a couple little marks on the left side here. There's a few scratches here. I'm not for sure why, or if that was done in the holster. But, you know, other than that, that's what happens. The Surefire actually just kind of sits free floating in there. And I have the one with the knob here, so there's no movement at all. It's a great light to have on there. And now I'll go ahead and I'll hit this with some oil, and we'll see if it changes anything on the finish. So here's what it looks like after I put a little coating of oil on it and then wipe the oil dry. You won't see the marks right now, but after I carry this gun today and I take it back out and the oil, the little bit of damp oil dries, it will show again. So that's what it is. This is a very good finish though on Glocks. On these new ones, it's a DLC coating, but that's just what happens when you carry in a level 3 duty holster. No mistaking that loud click. And there's how you could have that. Like I said, I do not like using that unless I have to. So there it is, guys. That's where you will get wear marks on a Glock if you use a level 3 duty holster. Now, what I've wondered, and I didn't get to try because I didn't think of this until later, but I do wonder what would happen if every time that I holster this, I hold the lever down instead of letting it ride on the firearm. If I hold this lever down, which would be the release, which in there, when I go like this, it moves it up like that. What would happen if I started carrying the gun, and every time I put it in there, if I started carrying a new gun, and every time I put it in there, as I went down, I held this forward and didn't let it touch the firearm until it was over the ejection port and locked it in. Could I stop that? Possibly. See, there's the marks. They didn't go away. They are still there. When you do put a little bit of oil on there, it will, you won't see it for a while, but they are still there. So if you ever go to buy a Glock used and you think, huh, that's funny. Why isn't there wear on the sides like a holster would have, but there's wear up here? Well, that's why. Because when it's in here, it's being held at the ejection port, and the sides actually aren't really touching anything. My Surefire is not being touched in any way down here by anything. Now, you can tighten this screw in, and you could tighten it down to your Surefire, but I don't even need this screw in here. It's just loose. I do not have that cranked on my Surefire at all. And this works just fine. Another thing, guys, is none of these screws have ever came loose on me at all. So they must Loctite them at the factory because I've never had an issue with those at all. But I got to tell you guys that if you're going for duty, that is the best holster, in my opinion, that there is on the market. If you're going for concealed carry, Armor Guard holsters from Pete at the Armory channel, which you can find them online, that would be the best holster to use. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think. And until next time, this is DOF, and I'm out.